Thankfully, there is nothing scarier than a lady after a mental breakdown. You think the bitch was crazy before, Habibi, you haven't seen shit yet. Damn, that girl could be crying. Mascara coming down the face, rosy cheeks, snot bubbles the size of rockets just out to here. Call her in 10 minutes. No, let her finish that bullshit. Call her in 10 minutes. On my mother, she's gonna be giggling, smiling. Life is great. Oh, honestly, I don't even know why I was mad. You're a demon. What the fuck, bro? We're literally dying 2 seconds ago. What happened? I seen this before. The Exorcist, because the whole personality just shift. That there's something not right with that. That's demonic possession. I'm just putting it out there. Bro, it doesn't make sense to me. That girl could have no water, have 1 Celsius, 2 apple pieces dipped in almond butter, and proceed to curse you and every generation that's ever lived before you. And do it good with the vein popping out in the head and everything. I'm really starting to think that just every woman needs to do this. They just need to explode once in a while, alright? Because every demon inside has to come out. I'm totally cool with you bugging out on me, yelling at me. Honestly, I'm gonna find it kind of attractive. I'm just asking, before you do it, can you let me know? Because my left eardrum absolutely perforated. Perforated. Pfft, right there.
You should use TurboTax, but you should not pay TurboTax. What are you talking about? It's very simple. You should use a filing service like Free Tax USA or the IRS's Direct File or something that doesn't cost you an absurd amount of money to actually file your taxes, but you should use TurboTax as a way of confirming that the numbers that you have in your Free Tax USA, Direct File, whatever submission are correct before you submit them. And the reason that you should do this is because there's nothing stopping you from saying, yes, TurboTax, I do want to use your $400 expert option. And then when you go through and you say, okay, all of the numbers for my return look correct and they look the same as the ones on the free website that I'm secretly using, then what do? You go and you exit your TurboTax tab and you go and you continue filing / paying whatever on the free website. And the reason that you should do this is because we hate TurboTax. They are the reason that this is annoying every single year that we have to go pay our taxes this way. So the least you can do is abuse their services. Repeat after me. Abuse their services. Abuse their...
Said that I was fine, said it from the coffin. Remember how I died when you started walking? That's my life, that's my life. I'll put up a fight, taking out my earrings. Don't you know the vibe? Don't you know the feeling? It's just spend the night, catch me on your ceiling. That's your price, that's your price. Well,
Queerness, in a way, saved my life. Often we see queerness as a deprivation, but when I look at my life, I saw that queerness demanded an alternative innovation for me. I had to make alternative routes. It made me curious. It made me ask, this is enough for me?
Here's a list of places I won't be going in 2025. Above and beyond, back and forth, and out my way. I don't have no time or energy for it, so don't ask.
This is how you do a beauty product review. You don't just grab a product, try it once, and then say, oh my gosh, it's so amazing and my favorite. No, girl. Like, girl, at least use half of the bottle. Y'all see this box? These products are 100% empty. I can confidently tell you what is worth your money and what is not. So let's get right into it. This I would not buy again. I love Milk makeup, but bro, this stung my eyeballs so freaking bad, so I did not enjoy my experience with it. This right here is my skin holy grail. It is the Ordinary Mandelic Acid. It was recommended to me by my esthetician. I used to struggle with acne pretty badly. Very lightly exfoliating, but it's also very hydrating because I have dry acne. I freaking love this eyeliner. You can't tell, but the brand is Urban Decay and it is in the shade Whiskey. Super creamy formula that is still blendable but also waterproof. I went swimming with this hella during the summer and it never smudged. I would not buy this again. I love this brand, but y'all, it's just really overpriced. Oil, I mean, unless you really want to be bougie and get luxurious oil, that's fine, but I really think it's not necessary. This cleanser is my actual favorite. I've actually already used up 3 bottles. It's like a milky jelly texture and it's great for dry skin. This is my favorite hair gel. I've already bought a second bottle. It contains hella good ingredients and the packaging is like hella luxurious. It's hella nice. And that is how you do a product review.
Ah, human, I see you are putting on your outdoor feet. May I accompany you? If you say no, I will scream.
If I pay off my credit card right away, does that impact my credit score in a negative way? Let me break it down for you in a way that you'll understand and actually figure out what's the best payment method that will work for you. Over here we have the normal credit card statement timeline. So on January 1st, we open our credit card. January 1st to 31st, this period of 28 to 31 days, depending on the month, is our billing cycle. Once your billing cycle is completed, say it's 31 days for this billing cycle, the 31st of January is your statement close date. Basically the date when your credit card issuer finalizes a billing cycle. So this is the last day that any transactions or payments or fees can be included in this month's billing cycle. Say by the end of your billing cycle, you get to the statement close date and you've only spent $1,000. So this balance would be the balance that is reported to the credit bureaus to calculate your utilization rate. Shortly after your statement close date, after 1 to 2 business days, or sometimes even on the same day, you get your statement in the mail. What is credit utilization? This credit utilization rate is used to calculate your credit score. This is a simple calculation. Credit utilization equals your credit card balance at the statement close date divided by the credit limit that you were allotted at the time that you opened your card. And to turn this into a percentage, we all know we just multiply that by 100. For this example, we spent $1,000 at the statement close date on January 31st, and our credit limit, for example, is $5,000. Credit card balance at the closing date, which was $1,000, divided by our credit limit, $1,000 times 100, my bad. That'll give us 20%. So that's our credit utilization. It'll be 20%. This example is only valid for if you only spent $1,000 from January 1st to January 31st, then you'll have a utilization rate of 20%. But if you pay off your credit card every single day as soon as you spend it, it will look very different. If you pay off your credit card every day, say I spent $20 here and I paid off right away, so that just cancels out. So this month I spent $1,000, but I paid it off before the statement close date, so my statement close date balance will be 0. Applying the same formula, here's our calculation. Credit card balance as of the statement close date is not $1,000, but 0 because you paid it all off before the statement close date. 0 divided by your credit limit of $5,000 times 100 to turn it into percentage equals 0%. Because this reported balance is 0%, some credit scoring models interpret 0% utilization rate as you're not needing or using your credit adequately, so it might not optimize your score as much as a small balance. Even though keeping your credit utilization rate at 0% does not damage or harm your credit score, it just won't optimize as much as a low percentage, such as if you kept your utilization rate at about 0 to 30%. Hope that helps.
Hot girl book racks that you wouldn't have found on your own because life is too busy to read everything. I'm on a mission to make more people read this because I don't see anybody talking about this book literally ever. This is my little life. This is 𝗏𝗍 by Tiffany McDaniel. Oh my god, it is so good. It is so... This is a coming of age story set in the mid 20th century that follows this Cherokee girl who's growing up in a mixed race family that is just torn to shreds by violence, both outside of the family and within it. Historical fiction is spooky, I know, but take it from tiny little bird brain me, it is not boring at all. When I got partway through, I fully could not stop reading for the last 300 pages. To me, this is an instant classic. Fair warning, basically any trigger warning imaginable, just assume that it's in this book. It is an incredibly tragic story. When you think that things are starting to get bad, they get worse literally every time. Like you think you've hit rock bottom, nope, there's more. But what is so special about this book and separates it from just being like misery for the sake of misery is it never feels that way. Like the entire time you're just enveloped in so much love for the people in this family, especially the dad who is a medicine man and a storyteller, and you can tell just like a godlike figure in the lives of all of his children regardless of anything bad that is happening to and around them. And all of that is because, get this book is a fictionalized semi-biography of the author's actual mother, Betty. It is a love letter to all of the things that made her mother the resilient woman that she is today. And it's just a beautifully written masterpiece that you should read right now. Here's a quote. "A girl comes of age against the knife, Betty, but the woman she becomes must decide if the blade will cut deep enough to rip her apart, or if she will find the strength to leap with her arms out and dare herself to fly in a world that seems to break like glass around her. May you have the strength." Yeah, read this.
I want to wear this mid-century dress, but something about it just doesn't sit right.
Is it the cut?
Nope.
The pattern?
Not that.
Is it the fact that our people didn't have rights when that dress was in fashion?
Jeepers, that's exactly right.
You're a fan of the style, but not the values. We've all been there, especially if you're a dandy like me. You want to sport an outfit, but your social consciousness is at odds with the style of the time.
Maybe you want to be very clear that when we're talking about the good old days, we're talking about the recipes, not the racism.
That's it! Vintage style, not vintage values. It's a unique slogan with a powerful message.
It says, listen up, folks. I'm not here for hate.
You might think, but it's just fashion, which doesn't cut it when your signature style is set in historical trauma.
So what do we do?
It's simple. Acknowledge the past, but live in the present.
Love your vintage threads without loving the vintage thinking of the era.
And that's the ticket. You might dress like you're in the past, but stand for the future.
Vintage style, not vintage values. Now that's a statement I can wear with pride.
Of course, wearing a pin isn't enough. You gotta live your values too.
Smarter in seconds.
Hi, my name is James, and I cannot afford a baddie. I can't afford a baddie. Not for the reasons you think. I just can't, because usually attractive women come with extensive health problems. Alright. Anemia, poor eyesight, stomach problems, irregular period pains, severe period pains. Like, is the body tea? Yes. Does it work though? Does it work? Pop the hood. This engine has problems. What's happening? You don't need a man, woman. You need medical aid. You need a really good medical aid.
Advice for first year teachers I wish someone would have given to me. First things first, when contract hours are up, where is it time to go? Home. Are you seeing those extra hours on your paycheck? No, exactly. They're not paying you extra to stay. And what people will never tell you is that it will never get done. There is always something that you can do. There's always another task to complete. Rather go home, get some rest, and start fresh the next day. Number 2, and this is something I learned the hard way, do not let your ego run your classroom, okay? I know we're all human and we all make mistakes, but you have to remember who's the adult in the room? You, exactly. And if you're trying to de-escalate a situation by having a power play with your students, it doesn't work. It only causes chaos and nothing good comes from it, okay? Set your boundaries, be firm, but don't have arguments with your students. It just doesn't work. I promise you, 9 times out of 10, when you're having an issue with a student's behavior, it's not even about you. So don't take it personally, okay? Number 3, be firm on your boundaries, okay? I know that you're a brand new teacher and you might feel a little bit of imposter syndrome, but you're qualified to be there. You know what you're doing and that's why you got hired. Just don't let people walk all over you, peers or admin. Number 4, and this is a big one, do not get involved in the teacher drama. There's one thing teachers love, it's the drama, okay? And you can listen, you can be in the loop, babe, but don't get involved, because you think if they're talking about her, they're not going to talk about you. Babe, do not get involved. I promise you, it will make your life so much harder if you do. Number 5, do not be afraid to ask questions. I know this sounds silly, but a lot of people feel like if they ask questions, they'll be stupid or they'll look stupid. Guys, no one knows what's going on. There are people who've been teaching for 10 years and still haven't figured it out. And if you ask someone, ask them to model it for you. And if they don't know how to do it either, don't stress over it. It's okay to make mistakes, honey. And it's okay to ask for help. At the end of the day, this is your job. So don't take things home with you. Don't take it so seriously. Have fun with it and just go with the flow. Teachers, I hope we have an amazing school year. And per usual, if you have any more questions, comment down below. Happy teaching. Love you guys. Bye.
I wrote an essay about this a while back in regards to Oscar Wilde, who was one of the greatest writers of all time, but also had an unfortunate habit of fucking 14-year-old prostitutes. So the question then becomes, can you consume the work of Oscar Wilde? Well, there's kind of 2 questions in that question. The first question is, does his work endorse pedophilia? Well, no, not really. So you're fine on that front. It's not a pro-pedophilia work, right? But the second question is the ethical consumption question. Can you ethically purchase his work as a product knowing that the money will go to a pedophile? Well, you're actually fine because he's dead. He's dead. So you're fine. You could read Oscar Wilde. But what about a guy like Woody Allen, who's very much alive and also very much a sexual abuser, and also very much makes terrific movies? Well, his movies don't endorse sexual assault, so you're probably fine on the endorsement front, but the question of ethical consumption comes up again. And the answer is no, it is not really ethical on a straight-up ethical consumption basis to rent a Woody Allen movie, because he gets a royalty from that. But it's not that simple. Because sometimes art is so valuable that it's more valuable than giving a little tiny bit of money to a horrible person. Right? Because when you boycott McDonald's, you're losing a burger. When you boycott art, you're losing culture. So it's hard. It draws the line. How good is the art? How bad is the artist? If they're dead, I say go for it, you know, whatever, right? Now, if the work itself endorses something horrible, don't consume that work. But I think, like, I wouldn't see a new Woody Allen movie, but I still really like Annie Hall. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have the answer, but I think it's a valid thing to think about, and you have to gauge it situation by situation. I think you do.
Baby, you make me hot like an oven. Since you came, you know what I discovered. Baby, I don't need me another. No, all I know. Only you got me feeling so. And you know that I got to have you. And I don't plan to let you go. Think of you when I'm going to bed. When I wake up, think of you again. You are my homie, lover, and friend. Exactly why you light me up inside like the 4th of July. Whenever you're around, I always seem to smile. And people ask me how, well, you're the reason why I'm dancing in the mirror and singing in the shower.
What are some of the best moments in music history?
I was my mother's 4th daughter. And when I was 15, I sat my mother down and I said, Mommy, I got something to tell you. And she said, oh, shit. And I said, Mom, I'm gay. Now, she was shocked, but she became my fiercest ally. And when I moved to New York City, we talked daily. And one day she called me and she said, Tea-Ka-Boo, why you got to be so mannish? Why can't you be a soft butch like Ellen DeGeneres? Now, as a transgender person, what we know is that we may lose everybody that we thought loved us. And I was scared that I was going to lose her. But a few days before I was to have my top surgery, I called my mother and I said, Mommy, I am having a double mastectomy and chest reconstruction. I'm a man. She said, what the fuck? But on the day of surgery, there she was, Miss Mary, at the hospital. And she had this Ralph Lauren robe and a blue teddy bear for me. And afterwards, she cried and she said, it felt like her daughter died. You know, because my transition wasn't just mine alone. And I said, Mommy, I'm still yours. And I think it was in that moment that she started to accept me as her son. And she would call me and she would say, oh, Tea-Ka-Boo, you'd be so proud of me. I've been practicing my pronouns and your name. You'd be so proud of me. And I said, Mommy, I'm always so proud of you. Now, the years passed and Mom got cancer and it metastasized. And so I rushed to hospice to see her, and she was in and out of consciousness, and my sister was there. And my sister says, here Teek is, here she is. She finally got here. And my mother opened up her eyes and she whispered, he. And that was one of the last words that she spoke. My family had it set up to where she wasn't alone, so we all had a shift, and I had the morning shift. And I went in that morning and I climbed in bed with her just like I used to do when I was a little kid. And I put my lips right up to her ear and I said, Mommy, you could go. You've done such a good job raising me, you could go. And I fell asleep. And when I woke up, my champion had died right there in my arms. My mother was my guiding light. And I realized that she was raising me to live in this world without her. And not only am I living, but I am thriving because I am the man that she raised.